Welcome, everyone. Today, we are diving deep into the Claude.ai interface. Whether you are a complete beginner or a seasoned professional looking to optimize your workflow, mastering this interface is your first step to unlocking true AI collaboration. We will explore everything from the basic layout to advanced chat history management and settings. Let's get started. Let's begin by orienting ourselves with the Claude.ai interface. When you first log in, you might be struck by how clean and empty it looks. This isn't a lack of features, it's a deliberate design choice by Anthropic. Think of this interface as a blank canvas for your thoughts. The layout is divided into three main zones: the central chat area where the magic happens, the input box at the bottom, and a collapsible sidebar on the left for navigation. Why does this matter? Because as a professional, you want to focus on your problem solving, not on clicking through endless menus. We will be navigating through each of these zones, starting from the most important one, where you actually talk to Claude. By understanding this layout, you establish a solid foundation for efficient AI collaboration. Take a look at this diagram breaking down the core user interface. At the top level, we have the Claude.ai UI, branching into three primary components. On the left, we have the collapsible sidebar, which houses your chat history and settings. In the center, taking up most of your screen, is the main chat area, displaying the back-and-forth dialogue consisting of your prompts and Claude's responses. Finally, anchored at the bottom is the input command box. Notice how the input box branches out into file uploads and the send button. This visual map perfectly illustrates how information flows. You input data at the bottom, it populates the main area, and it gets archived in the sidebar. Now let's zoom in on the command center, the input box, and the chat area. As a user, you will spend 90% of your time here. The input box is much more than a simple text field. It's a multimodal gateway. You'll notice an attachment icon, usually a paperclip. This is incredibly powerful. It allows you to feed Claude PDFs, spreadsheets, or images. Think of it like handing a document to a colleague before asking them a question. A crucial pro tip here: if you are writing a long, structured prompt, use Shift+Enter to create line breaks without accidentally sending the message prematurely. Once you hit send, your prompt and any attached files move up into the chat area. This chat area acts as a continuous, scrolling canvas of your collaborative work, clearly distinguishing between your inputs and Claude's outputs. Let's walk through the exact sequence of events when you interact with the input box. As you can see in this sequence diagram, the user starts by typing a prompt and attaching a file into the input box. The input box performs a quick validation, ensuring the file type is supported. Once the user clicks send, two things happen simultaneously. The UI immediately renders your message in the chat area, and the backend payload is sent to the Claude AI model. The AI then processes the data and streams its response right back into the chat area. This stream is processed in real time, allowing you to read the output as it is being generated. Moving on to a fundamental concept: conversation threads. When you talk to Claude, it's not just a series of isolated, disconnected questions. It is a continuous dialogue. In Claude's interface, a thread represents your complete conversation from start to finish. Think of a thread like chapters in a single book you are writing together. Why is this important? Because within a thread, Claude remembers what you said 5 minutes ago. If you ask Claude to write an email, and then your next prompt is simply make it shorter, Claude knows exactly which email you are talking about. You don't need to repaste the text. To master Claude, you must lean into this. Treat the thread as a progressive sculpting process. Your first prompt creates the rough shape, and your subsequent prompts refine the details. This state diagram illustrates the life cycle of a thread. We begin at the new chat state, a completely blank slate. The user initiates prompt 1, and Claude generates response 1. Here is the critical junction. If the user asks prompt 2 within the same thread, the system stays in the loop, bringing the context of response 1 along with it. Claude adapts its next answer based on that history. However, if the user decides to click the new chat button in the interface, the state resets entirely. The context is cleared, and you are back to a blank slate. Knowing when to continue a thread versus when to start a new chat is key to effective AI use. Now let's dive into a more advanced, deeply educational concept: the difference between chat history and the context window. This is where many beginners get confused. Chat history is what you visually see scrolling on your screen. The context window, however, is Claude's active working memory. While Claude has a massive context window up to 1 million tokens in newer models, it is not infinite. Think of it like a human reading a very long book. Eventually, the exact wording of Chapter 1 might fade from active memory by the time they reach Chapter 50. If you find Claude starting to lose track of early instructions in a marathon session, you have likely maxed out the context window. The best practice here is to ask Claude to summarize the current progress, copy that summary, and paste it into a brand new chat to reset the context window. Let's examine this class diagram to understand the architecture behind your chats. On the left, we have the user interface, which holds your scrollable, visible history with no real size limit. On the right, we have the AI model, constrained by its context window and a strict token limit. Connecting them is the API payload. When you hit send, the UI packages your history into a JSON array of messages. This is your sample code representation. It sends this array to the AI. If the array's token count exceeds the AI's limit, the oldest messages are truncated. The UI still shows them, but the AI payload no longer includes them. This is why visual history does not always equal AI memory. As you use Claude daily, your left sidebar will quickly fill up with dozens of conversations. Let's talk about chat history management. By default, Claude autosaves every chat and generates a title based on your very first prompt. But relying on auto-generated titles is a rookie mistake. As a professional, you should take control. Hover over any chat in the sidebar and you'll see options to rename it. Rename your chats with clear, searchable titles like Q3 Marketing Strategy or Python Debugging Script. Furthermore, utilize the star or favorite features. Starring a chat pins it to a dedicated section, usually at the top of the sidebar. This is absolutely crucial for long-term tasks. If you have a marathon conversation where you spent hours establishing brand voice and guidelines, star that thread so you never lose it. This simple but effective flowchart maps out the left sidebar functionality. The sidebar splits into recent chats and starred or pinned chats. When you navigate to recent chats and hover over an item, a decision node appears giving you hover actions. You can choose to rename the chat for better organization, delete the chat to clear out clutter, or add to starred. As the arrow indicates, selecting Add to Starred immediately promotes that conversation up to the pinned section, ensuring it is always just one click away regardless of how many new chats you start. To truly make the Claude interface your own, you must familiarize yourself with the settings menu. Usually tucked away in the bottom left corner under your profile initials, this menu is your control room for personalization and privacy. First, let's talk about appearance. If you are a developer or writer working late hours, immediately switch your theme to dark mode to reduce eye strain. But the settings menu goes much deeper than aesthetics. Under the account and billing tabs, you can manage your subscription tiers, like Claude Pro. Most importantly, this is where you handle data controls. If you are working with sensitive business data, you can navigate here to manage your data privacy settings, ensuring you have total control over whether your chats are used for future model training. Mastering these settings ensures a secure, comfortable working environment. Let's explore the settings hierarchy using this mind map. Everything originates from the profile icon at the root. Opening the settings menu branches out into three main pillars: appearance, account, and billing. Under appearance, you control the visual theme, selecting light, dark, or system default. Under account, you handle critical security tasks like email, password, and your vital data controls. Finally, the billing branch allows you to view your current plan, access historical invoices, or upgrade to a premium tier. This organized structure makes it incredibly easy to find exactly what you need to tailor the interface to your preferences. Let's put theory into practice with a real-time, highly impactful use case, writing a comprehensive 50-page business plan over a week. You wouldn't just type "write a business plan" and hope for the best. Instead, you use the interface features strategically. Step 1. Click New Chat. Step 2. Use the attachment icon to upload your raw financial CSV files and market research PDFs. Step 3. Prompt Claude to generate an outline. Now, immediately go to the sidebar, rename this thread 2025 Business Plan, and star it. Over the next 5 days, every time you log in, you simply click your pinned thread. Because you stayed in the same thread, Claude remembers your financial data from day 1 while you write Chapter 5 on day 5. If the chat gets too long and sluggish, use our advanced trick. Ask Claude to write a checkpoint summary, copy it, start a fresh chat, and paste it in. This is how professionals manage complex workflows. This flowchart maps our real-world project lifecycle. On day 1, we start a new chat and upload CSVs, generating our outline. We immediately rename and star the thread to secure it. Through days 2 to 4, we iterate on sections within that exact same thread. As we work, we reach a critical decision point. Is the context window full? If no, we proceed straight to day 5 for the final polish. If yes, we generate a checkpoint summary, start a new chat, paste the summary, and then proceed to the final polish. This workflow guarantees that you never lose context and never hit a technical roadblock during a major project. For our final slide, we are looking at power user secrets, advanced interface controls. Whenever you or Claude sends a message, hovering over that message block reveals hidden tools. On your own prompts, you'll see an edit button. If Claude gives a bad answer because your prompt was vague, don't write a new message. Click Edit, fix your typo, and resubmit. This creates a branch in the conversation, allowing you to toggle between your old and new prompts without deleting history. On Claude's responses, always use the copy icon instead of highlighting text manually, especially for code snippets, as it preserves perfect formatting. You'll also see a retry button to force Claude to generate a completely new answer to your last prompt. Mastering these micro-interactions transforms your speed. Thank you for joining this deep dive. I invite you to like, subscribe, and visit quicktechie.com for premium certification prep, including Q&A banks, full ebooks, audiobooks, full-length training, and interview guides. See you there. Let's review this final flowchart on message block interactions. When you perform a message block hover, the options branch based on the message type. If it's a user prompt, you get the edit prompt option, which crucially creates a branch, allowing you to toggle variations of your timeline. If it's a Claude response, you unlock a different toolkit, copy text or code for perfect formatting retention, retry generation, to roll the dice on a new answer, and thumbs up or down to provide feedback. Using these built-in controls is the hallmark of a true Claude power user.